All right. Hey. Welcome. Regina, I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you for the invitation.
On the ANNABELIZATION podcast. I always try to find really cool, amazing, independent artists like you to come and interview them. So, Regina, we just got a coffee yesterday and here we are already.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It is. Thank you for being so spontaneous and not telling me that you were free in 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy because you told me you were going to be flying to India to do some gigs there. And I thought, okay, so when are you going? Next week, so we're going to do it tomorrow.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And then I said, yeah, I'd rather do it now than wait any longer.
That's it, yeah.
So, as you know, we always have a live ukulele in the studio. Because that's how the episodes are always good quality afterwards. Regina, I actually found you on Instagram. I don't want to be said that I'm a stalker, but I found you on Instagram and I thought your profile was so interesting. I loved your energy and you just radiated a lot of just talent and creativity. And then I saw you were from Brazil, and so I thought, oh my God, you should come onto my podcast and maybe we can explore together how your culture has really shaped your music. And now you're in Switzerland, so there must be a lot of good stories behind all of that.
For sure. Actually, what I would find interesting, because like you found me on Instagram, right? And there's probably some people there that are watching that are following me on Instagram. You talked about the energy, you talked about the music. What did you see on Instagram that you would like to know or that you'd like to see?
Ooh, I like her. She has personality. Interviewing me. So I would really love to know actually a bit of your story. You know, I understood that you're from Brazil, so I'd love to know, how did you grow up with music? Did you always sing when you were little? Like, how did you fall into this journey of becoming a singer? Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't tell this a lot on my social media, actually. So I come from no musical family. I'm the only person that sings or that plays anything in my family, actually. But I started with 3 years old playing the drums. Then with 11 I asked for my first guitar. With 14 I started with the bass. And then I found out in England music is part of the school system. So I thought, okay, I want to do a year there. And there I learned piano because every kid in England could play the piano and I couldn't. So I thought that doesn't work. So I thought I have to learn piano too. And all along, I started singing by accident, actually.
Oh, really?
I wanted to be a guitarist, and it's still my first instrument. And I couldn't understand the tempos, like when should I change the chords, or how does that work? So I started singing because I knew the songs, and I thought, okay, if I sing, I'll be able to direct myself. So being a singer actually happened by mistake, or it was just to help me to learn the songs faster.
Right, okay. But now you're, I saw on your Instagram, you have your own band, you're writing your own, like you're producing an album right now. But before we get into that, I still want to know a bit more. I mean, you said that you were in England, so you don't have a musical background from Brazil, but then you went to England for music. Yeah. Okay.
So I went to normal school in England. It wasn't an English school, or I went to normal school, but I knew music was part of it. And I wanted to dig in more, so I just started writing my first songs, but very super basic. My first songs were not good.
How old were you?
I was at the time 16.
Okay.
But I started writing, like, the first ones was 12 or 13, but they were bad. They were really bad. So there in England you study, composition, recording. So I was, school starts, I think is at 9 there. But I was at 7 o'clock every morning there at school already, recording, testing, training, seeing how that works. And so,
wow. Okay.
So I was I didn't live the English life so much, unfortunately, but I lived a studio and music life fully, completely there.
Already from the age of 16?
Yeah.
That's really young, actually. Yeah.
That's what actually changed my life. Because I never did many shows in Brazil before that. I was 14 and 15 when I was in Brazil before England. And as soon as I returned, so I recorded my first song in England. And the day that I landed in Brazil, the Teen magazine called me, the national magazine. And they said, oh my God, you've just been to England. We heard your first song. And then it exploded.
Oh my God.
So England actually changed my life in that way. And then I just became like kind of a teen superstar there in Brazil out of nothing.
So that is so impressive. I had no idea. And so actually, So it would be more that the UK culture with music, they're the ones who actually kind of unlocked a door for you musically.
For sure.
So you got all this recognition from being in England and writing music there, and then afterwards did you go back to Brazil?
I think England, it made my story interesting because as they wrote in the magazine, it's the girl that went abroad and became a singer. So I went to England, I had my first shows, I recorded my first song, I returned to Brazil, and then boom, there's this song, it's in English, it's exciting as a teenager.
Okay.
And that was the hook for it, actually.
Super cool. And can we know what that song was about?
That song was about falling in love in teenage years, actually. But not working, because that song was called Come Back to Me. And I met somebody right when I arrived in England. We met for like 2 days. We were in the same camp, and we never met again.
Oh.
Typical story. So yeah, very easy in the pop industry to write about love or reciprocated love, right? Yeah.
And so when you went back to Brazil with that song, did you get like more fans? And did they sing along with you in English? Like, how did that work? Wasn't there a language barrier?
There was, but we're very strong on American culture in Brazil. Okay. Even though people don't speak, even my parents, they could sing along to songs in English and they have no idea what it is about.
Yeah.
So for me, it was actually crazy because I did the interview for the magazine and I didn't know when this was going to be out. So I went to pick my oldest sister up in her English course, and I walk into this class and people look at me and they start running after me. So I just run away. I was so scared. I didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
And they said, oh my God, that's the girl from the magazine. And I didn't know. So I just went to the shop and I saw that I was in the magazine. And I thought, oh my God, how do I do this now? Yeah.
This is really
it was crazy.
Quite yeah, it's not every day that I meet people who have had this background.
It was very good and very tough at the same time.
Yeah.
So I did an interview late last year about women empowerment for Alex. I don't know if you guys know Alex. And I mentioned today, when this happens to you overnight, there is no training on how to cope with this.
No. Yeah.
So what happened is I was still at school, in my last year at school. So you have either very loved or very hated.
Very hated, yeah.
Because you get this attention that you didn't even know this was going to happen. And lots of people want to be close to you, and a lot of people, they're not that welcoming either. Yeah.
Okay. And so after you had returned to Brazil, then what happened? Did you stay in Brazil? Did you decide to move again?
So I always wanted to stay in England.
Okay.
Or in Europe, let's say it that way. But I had no visa and I had no money to stay either. And I was still underage also, so that none of the variables helped me staying.
Yeah.
So my godmother, which is what brought me here to Zurich, she says you need to have a degree to be able to come back to Europe.
Yeah.
So this is the reason why I stayed in Brazil. I always did international music. I always wanted to come back to Europe, but I needed a way to do it.
Okay.
So I did my university, and 2 months or 3 months after graduate, I stopped my career in Brazil and I said, I'm heading to Europe.
Okay, that's really impressive. You have a very strong spirit that I feel like has been driving you since you were very young. Do you feel like something shaped you in your upbringing, or like peers or your culture? Anything was pushing you to strive for these goals, or it was just an inner fire that you had and have?
It's a good question. I think when you talk about inner fire, probably. So a part of my ancestors are Amazon, so it's like a warrior women, and I have so many examples in my family. My grandma, my mother, very strong women that came from nothing and they reached something. So my grandma, she was born in a place where there was not even water to drink. She used to walk like 10 kilometers carrying water for them to drink.
Yeah.
And says, one day I want to work for the president. And when she turned 50, she was the head of finance for Brazil.
Oh my God.
So I grew up with this type of women that said, you gotta always work hard.
Yeah.
You gotta really put the effort in. Some days you're gonna win, some days you're gonna lose, some days you're gonna do so much effort and it's not gonna pay off.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you don't give up, at some point it's gonna be worth it.
Okay. Yeah. Inspirational words. I feel like we're having a TED Talk right now. It's the Annabelization TED Talk, not podcast. Okay, super cool. And so now you're in Zurich. And how is that treating you? How's the music scene here?
I'm still a newbie, right? So it's really crazy. I have something very special. I don't know if it's good or if it's bad. You're also new here.
Yes.
I don't know if I can use this as an advice, but Zurich is full of opportunities. So wherever you go, people will help you. People will, or at least I try to see that way. It's full of opportunities. You just need to be out there and tell people of the universe what you're looking for. So what I wanted to say, the good or bad habit that I have is I don't research much about people. That means anybody that I meet, I have no preparation in the sense I have no fear of talking to them.
Yeah.
In one sense.
That's great.
And they also have the feeling I'm not expecting anything from them because I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
So I can meet the person probably that's going to change my whole life and I don't know, and I won't treat them differently because I don't know anything about them. So it's purely genuine, you know, it's like a true connection.
That's great. I really love that. So you don't know about my criminal background. I'm really relieved that
No,
you didn't
actually,
look into
am I in danger?
You know, I locked the door, you know.
Oh my god. Well, thank you very much for watching my last video.
cut. Anyway, but that's I love that take. I try to be the same way, like very fresh, and I think I've noticed in Zurich that people prepare everything.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people also when they come to my podcast, they're kind of stressed and they ask me, can you send me questions in advance because I want to know exactly what you're going to ask me, and then I say but actually it's really a conversation.
Yeah.
So you can't prepare for that so much, no. Yeah. But thank you for the honesty.
Yeah,
I'm feeling it.
No worries.
So I know actually I'm thinking maybe it would be really cool to hear you sing something for us.
Okay.
If you would want.
What type of story do you like to hear? I wrote pretty much about everything already, actually. Oh, I'm sorry.
About everything, how I'll move the flowers.
Oh, wait. So I don't break the guitar before. Now I do. It's a pretty guitar, very pretty.
Yeah, nice. So I would say like whatever song that you feel like really you had a strong connection with it, and it was a kind of a tipping point moment for you to write it, and then we can also kind of hear about that for you, how it was for you to write it, and how it makes you feel.
I think there's a song we released, if I'm not wrong, 2 years ago. It's called Last Day. And that, until today, is one that I hold very close to me. Because I remember exactly the moment that I wrote. I realized, we're living now, but we don't know how long is this our last night. So we still have 5 years, another week. And I'm a planner. So I see my family once a year. And I always say, next December I'm going to see my family again. So, but you never know if that's going to happen. Maybe you only have another week or 2 or some months or 10 years. We don't know. So I wrote that song as kind of an awareness. For people to think, if you knew, if you would be able to know, you have another 7 days or you have another 17 years, what would you do with that time?
I like it. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Be comfortable.
I'll play a little part of it so it doesn't get that long. Spending my life with strangers. The nights and days they go pass by. I'll drink another to forget. This was your last day. This was your last night. Would you lay there alone or would you come in into my arms? This was your last day. This was your last night. Would you lay there alone or would you come in into my? I'm spending my life with strangers. The nights and days they go pass by. I'll drink another to forget. Would you lay there? Would you come and lay into my arms? It's a little bit of it about me.
Wow, oh my god.
Yeah.
I want to hear it all now. That was so beautiful, and I really felt a lot
the emotion, right? There's a lot of people that cry actually.
Yeah, I cried already today. I can't anymore.
Perfect. You reach your quota of
I was
crying.
like, I'm gonna cry before the podcast. I can't cry during it, and then my makeup is fine. I love that. That was really beautiful. Like,
Thank you.
Seriously, I can't wait to see a live show of yours now.
Thank you. You're most invited.
Because I mean, I knew you were good, and Instagram you can see things, but you can't feel what you're really singing, and now that was really great.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. So what is this song like? When did you write it? Is it from a past album?
It wasn't an album. It was a single actually. From 2 years ago.
Okay.
And the funny part is I was having this reflection and everything. And a little bit before release, I was actually cutting or supporting the cut of the video. And a good friend of mine at the time, she wrote to me, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, I almost died like last week." And I said, "Oh, hold on, what happened?" So she had a car accident. And I thought like, oh my God, so maybe we'll never meet again. And I didn't even know that this could have happened, you know. And this happens all the time. So we realize, even when you think like, oh, I'm going to phone my mom tomorrow, or I'm going to talk to my best friend in a month's time, maybe we don't have that time. So what I usually say in the concert is like, okay, think what's important to you. And if you think it takes a minute, if you want to say something to somebody, if you want to do something, just go there and do it, because you don't know. We're all in our journey and we don't know when it ends.
Exactly. No, that's true.
Yeah.
It really touched me, the song, when you wrote it. So you're trying to give this message, right, about act now and don't overthink, and just do what you feel in the moment, because you don't know when we're gonna go off this planet. And so now when you sing it, how do you feel about it?
Sometimes I cry also during the show when I play, because it always touches me so much. Because this is my daily life, right? My family is far away from me. I see my family once a year. My best friends also is like once a year, so I always have to plan. And what people ask me, when that's the other side of the social media. Because I do so many things. Once I got asked, okay, so which part is losing? You know, like, you have only so much time. I have 24 hours like you do, and like everybody that's watching do too. What's suffering because of the amount of things I'm doing? And I said, it's definitely the people close to me, in a sense, of say my best friends. Instead of I'm doing a show, I can't go and hang around with them. So it's always a choice, you know, okay, where am I putting my time? And what am I realizing that I'm missing? And how important is that to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about your fans' reaction to this song? Did you get a lot of feedback about it?
We actually got lots of cool messages from people thinking about their families. Yeah. So as soon as we released, some people wrote about love too, because, you know, like, you're falling in love, you're scared to say that what you're feeling, and so. And I'm like, honestly, just tell them, because every day you don't tell the person that you have a crush on, let's say.
Don't do that.
You're just wondering, you know, maybe if they say no, then you can move on and not keep feeding this feeling. Yeah. Or maybe you'll be surprised and it's going to be amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And so this kind of goes into the part of the podcast that I always like to explore, which is how do you use music as a tool, or your songwriting as a tool. So for this song, I really understood the message you were trying to convey, but could you like develop a little bit on that, on how songwriting is for you, and how what is music like in your life? What does it mean to you?
So music, and it was very clear to me, it's the only thing that I always had since I'm pretty much a baby, because I started with 3 years old, and it's the only thing that will always be with me forever. Yeah. So, you know, family, at some point we won't have. Friends, we hope that we always have them, but you change countries like I did, and then you have to start from zero. So music, I know if I have my guitar, or you'll always have this with you, and it will always bring people close to me. I'll never feel lonely, because it brings people together.
That's true, yeah.
And the other thing is the connection, in the sense I find it really interesting how people connect with lyrics, with sounds, with the melodies, because something I wrote last day, I was wondering, oh my God, how would it be my last day? What's important to me? And then I sing this to you, and you start wondering what I was wondering too, and there's a connection. And you think, oh my God, that song reminds me of my family. But I wrote about my story, and we noticed our stories are similar.
Yeah.
So it's the connection you see with all the artists that we like. Is like you think, okay, I really connect with that song, but that song was a moment that the artist lived for their story or something they saw, and you think like, oh, it's my story too. I think that's amazing.
It is amazing. So you use your music to just always, you get to connect with people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a way to connect and to connect feelings and energy. So I love to, all the shows, even though we do some ballads, I like to bring the energy out and dance with the people. And because we live in such hard times, we work so hard, we are hustling all the time, and we're fighting to survive, like to get paid and to everything we do. Once a lady told me here in Zurich, she says, Regina, look around, everybody here is searching for something. Everybody here wants something, but we don't know. Maybe that one wants to have a deal for this. Maybe that one wants to be healthy because he's sick. Maybe everybody's looking for something.
Yeah.
And with music, you can give something back. And if it's just a little energy where you connect there for the moment, it's already worth it.
Yeah, and then everyone can also feel together in that moment.
Exactly.
Maybe not as lonely in their search, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's really beautiful.
Yeah. How is it for you? How do you use music as a tool?
Yeah, I spoke about that in my introductory episode.
Okay.
And I really use actually songwriting. For me, it's a great way to therapize in the sense that I have issues that I want to talk about, but I don't really know how to talk about them, or a message I want to give to a loved one, but it's kind of a delicate thing to say to them. So I write songs to people I love usually. With what I wanted to really tell them, and then I sing it, and for me it makes me feel a bit less powerless in the situation where, if you want to like create a change in a loved person's life, but you can't really change their life. So maybe I write a song to see, maybe they'll listen to it and it will spark their desire to do it and to change.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean I don't have as many songs as you. I don't think, because you have like. How many albums?
I don't remember.
Oh my god, see?
I don't. So when I was in Brazil, I counted last time. I had more than 50 songs.
Wow, that's
amazing. Here in Switzerland, I think it's like around 20, but in total, I have no idea.
That's really impressive. I have like 15, I think, or 20.
That's not bad.
But produced, I only have like 10 or something. And but it's really cool because I haven't arrived at this stage yet in songwriting where I write about things that aren't related to me, I think. And I'm sure that you have already gone above, beyond, like under the sea, over the mountain.
It's crazy because I don't know how about you, but for me it's really hard to control what I'm gonna write about.
Yeah,
it just comes, or I can't say like today I'm gonna write about my new job. It doesn't work like that.
No. Yeah, it doesn't.
I don't know if it's because I'm more musical than a lyricist, so I find really hard to write text and the poetry, and I'm so musical, with the different instruments, and so I do the melodies first, and then I think, what type of text could match here? Unless it's the other way around, but that's so rare. This happened once in a song that's coming in our new album this year. But it was a very specific message I wanted to give to somebody or somebody's. That I thought, okay, this needs to be out and it's going to inspire a lot of people. Okay,
awesome. And I'm hearing about this new album. Will you tell us a bit more about it? Like, what's the story behind it?
From time to time I have the feeling, okay, we gotta do a new album. There's no strategy behind it, or the thought, or the wish to do it. It just comes a feeling, I say, okay, now it's the right time.
Yeah.
For this one, I've written albums about love mainly. In Brazil, it used to be love stories, breakup stories, and so the last album was a little bit about a mixture, opening up. I would say more. Last Day, there was another one called Honesty. So it's pretty much the relationship with yourself and opening up. This album is more about being your time right now. Fighting and winning. So it's like, imagine when you've been running, you see the finish line. It's the moment of crossing the finish line. It's this album. It's like you look back. What have you done? You look where you are now. You didn't win yet. You're winning now. How does that make you feel?
Okay, so that means you're in this moment right now in your career. You feel?
I always want to achieve more. Of course. Maybe not in my career, but in a life, yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. It's
great.
a really weird feeling, actually.
Yeah. Wow. But so it's interesting how you have different themes in your albums, and how do you think this has evolved over time? Like, you started with more love, heartbreak, and then this opening up, and now it's about like winning and being in the moment, but like being yourself. Can you walk us through a bit more? Like, I feel like you've really evolved and grown with your music, right?
And as a person.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I never got this question before. I think when I was in my 18s, early 20s, my focus, everybody wants to fall in love and this whole romance, and that's all you think about. Your headspace is used just for that, right? You focus a little bit on career, on your studies and so, but everything about love is so intense that it takes all of your feelings, or a big part of it. The second album, I had the feelings, but I was wondering, who am I? I mean, why am I the way that I am?
Yeah.
And then it came honesty, and then it came last day, wondering, okay, where am I in this space? Or what am I doing? So, and now, between that album and this one, it was my phase of realizing, okay, who am I? Where am I? What do I want to do?
Yeah.
Till where do I want to reach? And how can I bring people that want the same thing forward to come with me?
Yeah.
So it's more, that's why I say it's like, you didn't win yet, you're not back, that you're stepping on the finish line. So it's your moment of winning, because you know who you are, you know where you want to achieve.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like a big party. It's your moment.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. And when are you going to have concerts with this album?
So we're planning to release late this year. Okay. I actually promised, because we're doing the crowdfunding for it.
Nice.
So,
really? So what do you mean? What are you doing for it?
So, I mean, we're both artists, so I speak openly about it, no problem. I was wondering about this album, and every time we bring an album out, I want to reach a level higher than we did before.
Yeah.
So I wonder, how can I do? Okay, so the best thing is I want to have the best team. I want to have a cool concept and a good idea, and of course that comes with costs. Yeah. And I thought, okay, should I take everything from my costs? But that's a lot. I should take from the band. How should we do it? And I thought, okay, how much would it cost to do the way I think would bring us to the next level? I took at least 50% of it, and I thought, okay, for the other half, I'm gonna ask my community. And the thought behind it, for the people that helped already, was two things. One is, of course, helping to cover the costs.
Yeah.
The second thing was being part of something. So usually we record an album, we record a song, and then we go to people and say, hey, do you want to listen to it? Or, hey, do you want to buy it, right?
Right.
So I thought of the reverse strategy, and I said, hey, I have this idea. I want to do an album. Do you want to support in advance? You will get the album. You'll be invited to my party to release together, and this is happening because you're going to help me already in advance.
Yeah, okay.
So you already kind of build a community and the wish to see something even before it exists.
Yeah. Plus, for Zürich, this is perfect.
It's cool.
Because people can put it in their calendars.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, you don't need to, even though like you need a lot of money, I thought, what's easy? I want to reach everybody. I want to reach students. I want to reach people in a higher level, people, corporates. What's a value that would help us and that wouldn't bother anybody to pay?
Right.
So I thought, anybody can donate. More is welcome. The price of a pizza. So you buy me and my band a pizza, so 20-30 francs. It's actually usually musicians get paid for food or for pizza, like often in the story. And I say, hey, buy us a pizza and I'll give you an album and an invitation to our party. Yeah. So it's like you buy a pizza or the price of a pizza, and you also get already a ticket to go somewhere. It's really great.
I love the concept. It's awesome. Really original as well. And it sounds like it's such an interesting angle that you are actually doing more community building with it than if it was a normal album, right?
Yeah. And that's the idea too, because I never thought, music-wise, especially now, of winning. I don't want to win from my community. I don't want to win from any event organizer. I want it to be a win-win. So I said, okay, if you guys are helping me to make this music happen, so I'm going to give you the invitation to come to the party, so you don't need to pay an entry. And that's okay. I could win twice, of course, but that's not needed. You helped me in advance, and I'm happy to give that to you too. So it's the exchange.
And these people who are getting on board with this and who are buying you that pizza.
Yeah.
Do you feel like are they more involved now with your album creation? Like, are they asking you more questions, and has it changed the process, like with your audience, your future audience?
I definitely share more than I would do. In the past, I used to just post some stories, but I get like in this deep black hole in the studio where I'm so focused.
Yeah.
So just so you know, when I start recording a song or producing, I will probably go there at 7 a.m, and I won't eat, I won't see anybody till like midnight, and then I come out with a demo.
Yeah.
So I get so lost that I forget to bring the socials and so.
Yeah.
So I'm sharing a lot more, like, hey, now I'm working on guitars, and this is why I do a solo like this. And so some people said, hey, I want to help, but I'm a guitarist. I want to see how do you do. I'm a singer. How do you, So I have this type of people. I have people that ask me, hey, how are you planning the release party? I want to have a good time with my friends. What's the album going to be? Is it going to be acoustic? Is it going to be upbeat? And then I tell a bit, hey, this song's going to be like a rock, and you're going to have a good time there. And some people want to know the reasons behind. And the good sides and the bad side, like the struggle. Hey, how much does it cost to bring an album? Or why do you even do that? What message do you want to bring? Why do you just go on social media without an album and say, hey, this is my message? Which could also...
this is making me think of one of the posts I saw on your Instagram, where you said that you were going to become a host for a podcast yourself.
Yeah.
So what is that going to be about?
So I produce podcasts since a year and a half, more or less. I did different interesting podcasts.
Yeah.
And I always got, for being an artist, the question, why, if you produce podcasts, if you have everything, why are you not a host? Fun fact, when I was at school, the quizzes that we do, which career should you have?
Yeah.
Mine was always radio and TV. So every time people ask me, why are you not a host? I'm like, yeah, funny. So I thought, okay, if I would be a host of a podcast, what would I talk about? Why would people watch me? What would they want to know? Not only more about me, but I need to bring value to them too. Why would people watch my podcast? I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm Regina, so nice to meet you. That's not so interesting. So
I think it's pretty interesting. It's making this episode interesting.
No, it's true, but it's like, if you do a whole podcast and you're the host, let's say you bring value to people.
Yeah, exactly.
So I thought, okay, I want to do something mixing music and business because, behind the stage, I also have a normal job like everybody does. And I wanted to bring information for business. Hey, how can you have creative ideas that I use from music? For music, you have to be creative all the time.
Yeah.
To generate income, to get more people, how can we give those tips from music to business? And which business people can I bring that can give us musicians tips? Like, I don't know, a marketing super expert, what can they teach us so that we can, reach a bigger audience?
True. This sounds super interesting. I'm going to want to listen to that.
There you go.
Yeah, you won't be able to interview me though, because I don't know enough about business in the music business yet, but I'll be really happy to tune in. It's amazing. I hope we can cut.
Sure,
I'm,
no problem.
Too slow because I can't think of the next question right now, but I'll cut.
I have a question for you though.
Okay.
You just arrived in Zurich.
Yeah.
And I would say you reach a lot to the Gen Z, right? Audience.
I haven't actually figured out what my audience is yet.
Okay.
To be honest, because I really like how thorough and business-minded you are. I can see it and I can sense it. I'm so impressed by it. I don't think I'm there. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm not thinking, who is my audience? Like, how can I grow this? And and I need to, because that's also why I think I hit a bit of a wall sometimes here in Zurich, because I do a lot of concerts, but then I don't get that much audience that comes. And it's probably because I'm not promoting properly or I haven't thought it through, So I feel like I always get to my audience. Whoever is in the room, I will connect with them. So I don't have a specific, it's the teenage girls who are like, oh my god, the girl with the ukulele. So I don't have a specific audience, but I think it's because I have a very broad repertoire and I sing in all these languages, and sometimes people aren't really sure what is my style. But so that's why in Zurich I've been creating this concept to really get into the sing-along show. To get people really involved. So I guess the people I'm really
That's cool and
involving
different.
is the people who need shaking up.
Yeah, that's a cool concept, you know, because I think, and this is a Brazilian speaking here, I absolutely love Switzerland, but I know it's lacking, it's not lacking, but it could be, there could be more energy. This exchange of energy.
Yeah,
you know, that you see in lots of places. I'm not saying there is no energy. I've been in summer here. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But it would be great to have this energy all year round.
Exactly.
So the question is, of course, I know in winter we want to chill a little more and so, but how could we find ways, like you doing sing-along concerts? That's super cool. It's super innovative also. It's a way of thinking of business.
Yeah.
In a sense, yeah, it's cool.
Thank you so much. But I would really love to explore a bit more together. So you talked about your songwriting, you talked about your albums. How about your community? Like, are you friends with your fans? Do you feel like do they tell you, oh, Regina, like I have this favorite song and when I listen to it, it helps me with this, or that has changed my life? Do you get this sort of interaction?
And I actually pay a lot of attention to it. So 2 things that are very important to me. I got criticized in the past for it, but I didn't. It's who I am. So I like staying close to the people. That means before the shows, I will arrive early and I will greet some people. After the show, I'll stay and I want to meet them. I want to, thank them for coming because, and it's also part of the show. I mentioned if not all, in a lot of the shows, say, hey, you had the option to do anything tonight and you decided to come here spend with me. So I really appreciate that because you could be doing anything else. You chose to come here. So I appreciate you for this. That's one side of the community, having the personal, it's not just an artist. You go there, listen to some music. I care who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other side is the social media. I try to be as present as I can. Only because I know since COVID, even before, but from COVID and now, people are more online. Yeah. So there's one side we're artists, we want to be playing outside and so, but I want to be there for the people who they are at home. Maybe they don't go out because they can't. Maybe they have kids. Maybe they're just shy and they don't feel comfortable. And I want to reach out to those people too and talk to them and try, hey, I'm here. You can see a little bit of me. They send me messages, hey, I like the song, can you play? So from time to time I say, hey, this is the song you asked me to and I'm going to do a challenge. Or, hey, you asked me to play this and I'm going to do that for a person that texted me, last month about this. So it's really important to not be in a one-way road. I'm delivering as an artist. I want to know what's touching them, what do they want from me? And what I could deliver to them too. Yeah,
it sounds like you're playing also a lot with your audience. You're creating these interactive games and these polls, and it's great. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason I found you on Instagram.
There you go. And I have to say, how you insisted, because I mean, you bombarded every day with so many messages, right? Yeah. The way you insisted, I thought it was so intriguing and so cool.
I am persistent.
No, it's good because it can be, and I don't know if it's the same with everybody, with you and with the people watching. Sometimes you read a message and something happens, you forget to reply, and then you missed it totally. And that could be something so cool that could happen from it, but you missed the chance.
Yeah. This is the thing, in Zurich. I think it's difficult to meet people and to get into their lives. That's really hard because everyone is already full and they're already all dating and jobs and they're doing a million things, and you, as a new person in Zurich, I think it's really hard to just connect for real. You can connect briefly. Yeah. And I feel like I connect in my shows, but then that doesn't mean that then they'll come back so that's why I try to be persistent. Yeah. But I also know that when I see someone who really emanates so much, really special vibes and a lot of enthusiasm and energy, and that's very unique to me. I don't see it a lot. Okay. So that's why I really was
that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's really great, and thank you so much for coming onto this podcast.
Hey, sure. I think it's really cool that you're doing it. It's a big part, doing something. So putting yourself out there. Sometimes it's perfect, sometimes it's not perfect, but people want to see who the person behind the camera is.
Yeah, I know. I love the questions. You were like, "What about you, Annabel?"
Exactly. I mean, what about you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're right. And so for me, it's really inspiring to have this chat with you right now because I want to surround myself with warrior women like you and like super cool artists who have their vision and who are using music in their lives to make people feel better, make people feel less lonely, create community, get people dancing, because I don't think there's enough dancing.
Fair, I agree there. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, so for me, you're a change maker in Zurich. So this is also why I invited you. Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean it.
I had another one in mind. Hold on, give me a second.
Oh, you've got one more question.
Yes. No, it's not. It could be a question, but it's a thought also. Think about the amount of artists there are. Now in Switzerland, I think there's more than 15,000 bands.
Yeah.
Let's forget about the amount of. That's just a small country, right? And then if you think you want to be seen in Europe, you want to be seen globally, how many thousands and millions of artists there are there? Okay. One big point, at least in my opinion, and it took me such a long time to realize, maybe till 2 years ago, I thought being an artist was about the music you make.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'll write the best lyrics, I'll write the best chord, I'll have the best technique. People will look at me and think, oh my God, she's the best guitarist ever. It's not about that. And that's when it shifted in my brain. People want to see who the person is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they won't go to your show, of course, because of the music, because they love it. But being a good musician, having good music is the minimum requirement to be an artist. So every good artist will have good music, well, in different styles, of course.
Yeah.
But the minimum requirement is you'll be able to play, you'll be able to sing, you'll be able to entertain.
Yeah.
What makes people go to you and not to me and not to the other is who you are. They come from that person.
You know, you're actually reminding me of something that a friend of mine, musician, told me yesterday.
Okay.
His name's Giovanni, and he's an artist. I met him in Zurich. He's Italian. He plays the guitar. He sings. Really amazing artist. And he told me that when he plays guitar and he's really in the flow and he's connected with his instrument, that it's his way of expressing who he is to his audience. And it really, it touched me to hear that, because I'm not as advanced enough on my ukulele to feel I'm at that point, where I can just riff, even though this ukulele looks like it wants to be treated like an electric guitar. I'm like pretty simple with it. But I feel like my real instrument is my voice, because I can feel more comfortable to like improvise, do all this, like I play with it, I do characters, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was another beautiful like side to music that we use it to express our true self to our audiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I agree there, and it depends. I think your talent on playing or how complex your songs are, it depends on the niche, of course. If we're talking jazz, it's another type of story. But it depends what type of artist you want to be. If you're a studio musician, you record songs, of course your technique is going to be important. Mm-hmm. If you're a musician that works with a band, you go on tours, of course whatever you can do with your instrument is going to be the most valuable.
Yeah.
But if you're a singer, an artist that your main goal is connecting with the audience, they're not gonna care how talented you are for the whole show on your guitar. They're entertained by the connection you have with them. How good are you at keeping the audience, you know? Yeah. So they're not gonna be, and I say this because for many years, the amount of hours I spent practicing in front of the mirror to see exactly which movement, how I'm playing each chord, that I'm not looking at the guitar, everything, I thought it was about how good you are on what you're doing, but it's more how good you are with the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that really shows us again how music is a people tool, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It is a universal language. I have to say. I think like with my ukulele, when I traveled to Latin America, and it really opened doors. Period. Like it made people host me. It made people want to be my friend. Yeah. Because they see who you are, and it's honest, it's vulnerable, and that's it. Yeah. And then they don't think you're like a person who's just trying to get into their lives to take advantage or like because you want something. Yeah. Because you're already giving your vulnerability when you're on stage.
That's it. It's a connecting tool for sure.
Yeah.
So you'll never be alone. That's the good news. And my grandma says you'll never starve because a musician will always get a pizza.
Yeah. And I will also share with the audience where they can buy you a pizza. You're gonna give me the link and I'll put it in the description.
Absolutely. So we just reached yesterday, I think 60% of the album, which I'm really happy about. Thank you. Yeah. So we still from my calculations, we just earned close to 170 pizzas, which is not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. It's almost 1,000 pieces of pizza.
Thin or thick crust?
I'm a fan of the thin crust, but...
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't have you on my show.
It's more of a taste. Yeah, so that's a lot, you know. When you think of 1,000 pieces, you could eat... How many
so cool.
days?
I'll buy you a pizza.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I'm inspired. I want to support you.
Thank you. That's really cool. Yeah. And I'll come to your show. I don't know when the next one will be.
Today.
Well, there you go. What time is it?
It's very soon.
Appear as a surprise there.
Yeah, but so I think, honestly, you've really blown me away. You answered all my questions. And I think short and sweet is also good. I don't want to like continue into forever. And I'd love to also go for a coffee with you sometime, so
sure.
I don't have to share all your life with these guys.
That's cool. Thank you for the invitation. I think it's really cool what you do.
Thank you.
Let me know when you're playing. Keep texting and insisting on me. Don't give up on me.
No, it's okay. Now we did the podcast. Like we're friends now.
Exactly. And you know, I really love, and that's the thing that I think we could make it strong in Switzerland, is supporting each other more, not only artists but also business with businesses, and you know, going there supporting each other. One day you win, the next day I'm winning, so it's fine. So yeah, really cool what you're doing.
Thank you so much. So we're gonna close the ukulele, the podcast episode with a little bit of strumming. Thank you so much.